Hello and welcome in, all you O-Niners, PCHers, Junior Private Detectives, Neptune Pirates, Pirating Fitzpatricks, and Green Barracudas to Life on Mars, a Veronica Mars Rewatch podcast where we go through episode by episode. I'm Brenton.
I'm Emily.
And we're here to talk about Season 2, Episode 19, Never Mind the Buttocks. Get it?
I'd like to rescind your welcome to the PCHers that are currently still betraying our buddy Weevil.
True.
And I would like to rescind your invitation to the Fighting Fitzpatricks. I want nothing to do with them.
No, the pure evil.
I'm a hard no with that crew. Like hard no.
Yeah, no.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure.
Mm-hmm. No, good to call it out there. Good to pin that there. I still stand by my initial read of them as the most evil people on the show.
Mm-hmm. You weren't wrong.
Mm-hmm. Irredeemable beyond anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, Weevil understands that he can help the PCHers out, but he's not getting roped back in. He's gone.
Yeah,
he's retired at the ripe old age of 19.
And I think it's like a breakup. It's like, I want the best for you. I'm going to help you fix this one problem. Mm-hmm. And then I have to go my own way.
Right.
I've got to move on and be who I am.
So you're saying that he's Vanessa Hudgens in this situation and the PCHers are Zac Efron?
I am saying that.
Do you think they're all going to be running down a fairway in the next episode wearing their all black golf getup?
That is the best part of High School Musical too. Well, I don't know. The I Don't Dance song.
Yeah, I Don't Dance is actually probably better.
It's a good movie. It's the best sequel of anything I've ever seen. I've never seen a sequel
Bar
that's
none.
Better than that.
Oh, we need to watch Matrix Reloaded.
Okay. Well, I sincerely doubt it'll be better than High School Musical 2.
There you go. Yeah. Cinema. High School Musical 2. Matrix Reloaded. Film
if we're
101.
talking sequels specifically, like
Right.
Chamber of Secrets is by far one of the weakest Harry Potter books and movies.
Yeah.
It sets up some very important information and it matters retroactively. But like when you do your first watch through, you're like, why is this really fluffy man who just like wants to talk about himself here?
Yeah. Spider-Man 2. That's a good sequel.
Is it?
Yes. Not Amazing Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2.
Uh-huh.
Tobey Maguire.
Okay.
Not Andrew Garfield.
Okay.
Tobey Maguire, that was like mid-2000s. X2, that one's also good. We're just talking about superhero movies now. Outside of superhero movies, what else can I pull in? Empire Strikes Back, it's a great sequel.
I still stand with High School Musical 2 as my favorite sequel of all time.
I get it. I'm fishing here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're really looking. Like it's not coming easily. You had to put out bait.
Right.
High School Musical 2.
Well, Matrix Reloaded was there.
High School Musical 2 just shows up. They don't dance.
No, they don't dance.
It's a beautiful, beautiful song and dance number.
Mm-hmm. Probably the most referenced song and dance number on this program.
Oh, God, it's probably the most referenced song and dance number in my life.
I could see that.
I would argue that and maybe Grease, something in Grease.
Or I was gonna say it's probably something from Wicked.
It's not really song and dance though, because it's just like the Broadway musical. I don't think of that as like Wicked's like a stage show. Like you don't get to watch that at home. Like it's not the same.
But they dance and it's song.
Yeah, but a lot of that they don't dance. A lot of Wicked is a lot of just like walking around stage and flying and shit.
Gotcha.
But occasionally Alphaba doesn't fly, and then they have a no-fly show, and they have a backup plan. Because like she's supposed to have, at the end of Defying Gravity, she flies.
Right. No fly show.
And so occasionally it doesn't work.
Low hanging fog.
No, they make all the people that are on the ground, they just slowly start kneeling down. It's my favorite. I saw someone talking about it on TikTok, and I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. They're like, oh, we've got a no-fly show, and everyone just like lays down.
It's amazing. I mean, I understand like doing that stuff is incredibly hard to do, like all the
wire doesn't go, or whatever
on wires and stuff. Yeah, there was that whole Spider-Man musical that was an absolute catastrophe and didn't open for forever because people were getting injured.
Oh God, I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
But song and dance wise, I would say High School Musical's up there. But High School Musical is not the name of the game.
No.
Lucas Gabriel isn't in this episode either.
No, he has made his exit. But yeah, we get some talk of we get gang back and forth. We get talk of pressed hams. We get some leads on potential bus explosions. Nope.
Additional explosions.
Nope. Yeah. Culprits. Bus explosion culprits.
First and foremost, we start with Veronica being interviewed about the Lily tapes that we had let Logan destroy.
Yep. Yeah. Hey, actually, there's a lot of stuff that in this episode is like, hey, remember when someone made a bad decision in a previous episode? Well, here we are.
And what's so interesting about this one is that Leo, spoiler alert, everyone, goes to join the FBI at a later point.
Oh, uh-huh.
But, like, he got rid of the key evidence for a murder trial.
Right, sold it.
How did he get into the FBI?
Famously easy screening process.
It doesn't sit right. But yeah, so an attorney's interviewing Veronica, and they're like, so you saw Lily and Mr. Eccles, Aaron, having sex. And she's like, well, for the most, like, I didn't see, there's a sheet over them. And he's like, well, but do you, like, he's like giving her like the third degree on if she knows what sex is. Like, she's a goddamn teenager. What do you mean does she know what sex is?
Yeah, I mean, he is trying to find any sort of, he's going to press on this because she's a minor.
She's not a minor.
Oh, not a minor, right. Well, she's in high school. So he's going to press on this and see if he could find something to where it's like, oh, we'll see. She doesn't know, like, she wouldn't know what she saw. Would fucking slimy, but like,
Yeah, and
transparent.
Then he's like, have you been seeing Duncan lately?
Yeah.
It's like, no.
And it just like, we just fade away from that. Like, oh, but no, he's gone.
Yeah, he left with the child. He moved to Mexico, Australia, wherever the fuck they end up.
Right, he's gonna go.
Have we gotten that research? Isn't there a scene where it's like him and the baby sitting on the beach? We haven't gotten that yet, have we?
Nope.
It's the weirdest. It's one of the weirdest.
Yeah, but yeah, he's off to go find Jess and his family.
Gilmore Girls, Jess.
Yeah.
Going to California then? Because it's not going to be very far for him.
Baja.
Santa Monica.
Baja, California, there, south of the border.
Okay. And so then Keith comes home to Veronica. And he's like, hey, do you know that if Kendall had both Casablanca's boys killed, she'd make 8 figures? He doesn't say it like that, but that's what he says.
Yes, exactly. And their life insurance was tax shelter for Big Dick. But the recipient of that
was
life
Kendall.
insurance, yeah.
Would be Kendall, I should say. They're not dead.
Right. Much to many of Dick's classmates' chagrin.
And personally my own.
Yeah.
I don't wish ill of real people, but fictional Dick Casablancas, yeah, you can go
yeah,
fuck
my
yourself.
God,
So then we get Veronica and Weevil in class together. They take science together. Are there no...
Yeah.
I just feel like that's such a weird one. I'm like, I feel like Veronica would be in AP classes.
Yeah, probably.
And I feel like Weevil would not be in AP classes.
No,
From his interest, he's stated in school. Not because I don't think he could do it.
And also his friends saying, hey, aren't you a super senior?
Yeah. Maybe that's a problem. He's like, yeah, well, this time I forgot to take my AP classes. I got to do it again.
True. But I will push back on that they're in science classes. It looks like they're actually just feeding snakes and live rats.
I thought it was a science class because they're sitting at like lab tables.
Yeah, no, I'm just joking.
Oh. But yeah, so then they're like, Eli, can you feed the snake? And he's like, yeah. And it's a python. But he pulls out, they never show it eating, which thank God, because that's not the right rodent to feed that snake.
That's definitely a pet.
That rat was huge. It was like the size of Herman.
Yeah, that was
that was a pet rat.
No, Scabbers.
It's bigger than Scabbers.
Yeah, it was a big rat.
It's a big old rat. And he goes to put him in there with the snake. And Veronica's like, oh, you friends with the snake? And he's like, yeah, I like the python.
Or yeah, no, he goes, God, yeah, like says like Python, and then like, yeah, you didn't like really care about like giving that rat up, and he's like, yeah, I'm not afraid to like sacrifice a rat. And it's like, obvious much.
But I have a question.
Yeah.
Do we think Weevil's a Slytherin?
Probably, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, he's Hufflepuff.
Or like a Malfoy Slytherin, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't want to be bad. He just doesn't have another option.
Yeah, I guess so.
What do you think Wallace is?
Hufflepuff.
Let's sort everybody real quick. Max a Ravenclaw.
Yeah, Wallace the Hufflepuff. And
Okay.
Veronica's Gryffindor. Logan Slytherin.
Is
Keith-
Logan a Slytherin, or is he like a pretentious ass Gryffindor?
No.
Because he's bad.
He prizes
Being
yeah, exactly.
You're right.
That's like his main mode of operating. Later, maybe, but we can discuss that when we get to it. Keith would also be a Hufflepuff. Maybe a Gryffindor.
I feel like he'd be a Gryffindor.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he's got like that bravery loyalty thing, whereas like a Hufflepuff is more of like the loyalty doing the right thing always.
Yeah, that's definitely Wallace. Jackie'd be Gryffindor.
I'm noticing a lot of powerful women here.
Yeah. Anybody else that I really feel
Dick would be a Slytherin.
Oh, God. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he'd be the Crab or Goyle. The really mouthy Crab or Goyle.
Mm-hmm. Duncan.
Oh, boy. I don't want to put him in Hufflepuff,
He's
but I'm going to
fucking
put him in Hufflepuff.
And full transparency, what is your house, Brenton?
Hufflepuff. We take all kinds, but whew.
For a long time, I thought I was a Ravenclaw, but when I recently got resorted, I was in fact a Gryffindor. So,
Door, Gryffindor.
and it makes sense because I was very brave and bold as a child, and then I got weirdly heady, and then once I became an adult and had all of my brain cells, I went back to being more brave than heady.
Do they ever actually chant door, Gryffindor, or did I just completely
You
make that up?
completely
Yeah.
made that up.
It's been in my head for forever, and I think what
Go,
I'm doing...
go, Gryffindor.
Yeah, thank you. No, because I
Door,
conflate...
door.
Yeah, so there's a old like chant for like Dusseldorf for like type of music, but yeah, that's neither here nor there. Like for industrial music.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I think it's just go Gryffindor.
Yes, I combined the two.
Which complete Harry Potter tangent, but the one who like does it, Lee Jordan, who's doing the announcing in the movies, he's Magnitude in Community, and I found this out at midnight the other night on TikTok.
Yes, I woke up with a text message. Did you know?
Did you?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that? Okay.
I did not know that.
God, what an amazing revelation. So
Mhm.
yeah, if you
Yep.
watch Community, pop.
Yeah, go watch
Magnitude.
Community now on Netflix, I think.
Yeah, you should watch Community. It's a great show.
Yeah, Community's fantastic.
And then also know that Lee Jordan is played by the same actor who's Magnitude.
Yeah, the sentence I had finished in my head was Lee Jordan is played by Magnitude.
And what's
Not
funny
how
is
that
there's
works.
even a throwaway line in Community about him being like, "No, I'm actually British."
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, fantastic!
We're
Hell
so
yeah.
dumb. We
Yeah.
just completely missed it.
I know, fantastic. Big fan.
Big fan.
But back in Muggle school,
No
lockers
scabbers, rats that are fed to actual snakes.
totally, and lockers being randomly searched.
Yeah, it's very interesting to me that this is a thing. I think you would
Yeah.
just stop bringing things to school.
Yeah, totally.
Leave it in your car.
Totally. Yeah, exactly.
It's a
'cause
nice neighborhood.
yeah, what's gonna happen? But yeah, we didn't have lockers, or else I'm sure that would have happened at my school, because I've mentioned it before that they would do like the classroom searches, like we all had to go outside.
I think they did like a random backpack search once with dogs, but like they didn't have us go anywhere.
It's really funny.
We just all sat there.
Yeah. Oh, hi. Cool.
And the dog just like sniffed and then walked away. I'm wondering if it was like bomb sniffing. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what
Right.
the call had been for.
Yeah, probably drugs.
I was in AP Econ though. I remember sitting. It was 7th period in AP Econ, and I didn't often go to AP Econ. And I was like, why? What, did I miss something? Why is this happening?
Right. And then like, why is the police here?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really ask that a lot. But yeah, no, we had PE lockers. We didn't have regular lockers. I remember kids used to hide alcohol in their PE lockers.
Why?
So you can drink in PE. I don't know. You know what I don't want to do? Drink and then run a mile.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw up. Maybe that's the point.
Fair. But yeah, so during the locker search, we find out that Mac had her cell phone interjector taken. Which at first I thought was like a cell phone jammer. And then I was like, oh no, like she was intercepting people's calls.
Uh-huh. It's like the old spy toys that they used to have where it's like, oh, you can hear, like you put on the headphones, you're supposed to hear from long distance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Were you ever, when you talked on your landline as a child and teenager, I don't know how long you talked on your landline.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have like a cell phone until an emergency one freshman year, so I don't know, somewhere in high school.
Oh. So when you talked on your landline, did you ever get like the pickup of like other people's calls? Because this happened to me a lot.
Weird. No.
Especially at Granny's house. My grandmother, like, I'd be on the phone and then I'd start hearing like someone else's conversation.
Oh, that's weird. Like just like some random neighbor. Oh, whoa, that's
and usually
crazy.
We knew them because like small town. But I never, and then I'd go back, or you'd be like, what did you say? And then you're like, oh, it must have been someone else. It happened a couple of the neighborhoods, like one of my friends' houses, it did that too.
Right.
So we didn't know if it was just like the phone lines there or like that side of town. Or...
That's bananas.
Yeah, we'd hear people's conversations all the time. And never like
great.
anything like exciting because we'd stop to listen.
Right. And it was just like, hi, how you doing?
I'd be like, you know what I told him? But you know, it was always funny to me. So I was like, oh, I guess it wouldn't be that hard to intercept phone.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't understand how phones work to this day.
Yeah,
how does my voice go into this box and end up somewhere else without a cord?
Well, okay, let's get a cup and a string and we'll start there.
But I get the cup and the string. It's connected.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how these go, though.
I don't get it.
It's changed from digital. I don't know. I don't know. I'm no science man.
Maybe we should go take this science class where you feed the python a pet rat.
I don't think they're learning how communication works.
We don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
They did egg drops in one of them.
Yeah. Here's the section on Alexander Graham Bell.
So Mac's cell phone interjector was taken, and she's like, hey, Veronica, I need that back because I was using it to listen to my now ex-boyfriend's calls.
Yep.
Beaver.
Poop
head.
Yeah.
And Veronica's like, ooh, like, why don't I have a cell phone interjector? And Mac's like, respect the biz. I do the gadgets, you do the espionage.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, amen, sister.
Bond doesn't pick up his own gadgets.
Yeah. Exactly.
Q supplies them.
Exactly. Are you more of a Bond or a Q?
Q.
For sure.
Yeah. I couldn't be a Bond.
For sure.
I just make snarky comments and then pass off gadgets.
Just be sassy and hand people technology.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, I like that. I feel like that's a good description. Everything I know about Bond's films has come to light.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he does. Bond, we're gonna have a repartee, and he goes like, "What about that?" And he goes, "No, not that, Bond. Here, have this pen." Pen. Well, it's a pen that actually has a laser and will like call in 50 troops.
I'm gonna admit something right now.
What?
As a child, I thought James Bond and Inspector Gadget were the same person.
Amazing. Did the Matthew Broderick film really throw you off?
I don't know why. But I spent like the majority of my childhood believing these were all the same franchise.
Amazing.
I don't think I'd watched a Bond film. You know what I mean? Like I was just
right.
like, oh, same.
You just watched the cartoon of Inspector Gadget?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Inspector Gadget. Do-do-do. Hoo-hoo. I liked Go Go Gadget. It's just a fun, like I like announcing what I'm doing. Go Go Gadget arm.
Mm-hmm.
Go gadget head. Go gadget whatever the hell you needed.
Usually it's not appendages. It's like go gadget helicopter. But
I feel like it was his arm and it was like it would stretch and stuff. Am I thinking of something completely
No,
different?
you're right.
Okay.
Just a bit more specific, I guess.
You know what? You're tainting my childhood memories and I would like you to stop it.
Go gadget head. I like that.
Sometimes I think I can't remember my childhood and then I'm like, nah, I saved
It pops
the
up
jingles.
all the time. Yeah. Don't you worry. I could tell you more than remember your childhood.
Good. It means that I probably didn't suffer a lot of trauma.
Right.
It's not a surefire way of knowing, but it helps.
Exactly. Yeah, they call it the Inspector Gadget test.
I'm sorry. Where did Sesame Street? Have you been there?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It shifts for generation, but.
Okay, so then she's like, yeah, sure, I'll break into Clement's office to get your gadget back.
Right.
And then Clemens changed his locks.
Mm-hmm.
He must have trust issues.
Exactly. Well, yeah, something probably came up where he's finally like, I can't let Veronica in here anymore. Like, she has cleaned house as much as like I believe like we could have a clean house. Exactly. Before she starts getting onto my misdeeds, maybe. Who knows?
Ooh.
Yeah. But that's that's another story you can read on my blog.
This is your fan fiction about
exactly,
Clemens?
He was bench
Clemens
pressing.
Lemons.
Yeah. I wonder if I should change my locks, Clemens thought as he benched 200.
He visualized throwing Logan Eccles across the hallway.
Yeah.
Not violently, just to, you know, get him out of the way.
I was going to say he landed with a satisfying thud. But yeah, so then Veronica gets the oh so great idea of calling in backup, aka Butters.
You mean Vincent?
Vincent, yeah. Common name for some reason.
Common name?
Multiple people on this show named Vincent.
Are there?
Vinny.
Oh, well, that's Vinny Van Lowe.
Yeah, short for.
Yeah, but we call him Vinny Van Lowe.
It's all one word.
Yeah, a lot of hyphens.
That's true. Okay. And being the worst as always. But it's like, yeah, I'll break in. No, I'll help you break in.
I'll be in there because it's my dad's office.
Exactly. If Mac goes to prom with me, and as always, Veronica's like, I won't sell my soul, but Max is available. So yes, let's do this. Instead of consulting Mac of like on the scale of like 1 to 10, like.
Well, I figure she could always clean up crew the situation after the fact and still get into the room. I get it.
Okay.
You get yours before you confirm if they're going to get theirs.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
It's not Hufflepuff of her.
Oh, these selfish Ravenclaws throwing us on dates. No, Ravenclaw's Gryffindor. Can't even get it right.
I don't know. Would she be? No, she wouldn't be a Ravenclaw. She definitely is more reactionary than Hetty.
Yeah. So Butters lets him in and proceeds to badger Mac with questions about prom, and Mac is confused. While Veronica's like, I'm just gonna look in the bin. Finds an anarchist cookbook, which he holds on to.
Which belongs to Weevil because he's locker 333 because... And he's like, you know Weevil's locker number? And she's like, yeah, only he would brag about meeting the devil halfway.
Very good.
That's pretty good.
That is very good.
Maybe Weevil's a Ravenclaw. He's witty.
Yeah. He's cunning.
He is cunning. You're right.
Yeah.
He's cunning. For some reason, I thought you'd put him in Hufflepuff for a second. I had to...
No.
You put him in Slytherin.
Yep.
Yeah, he's cunning.
I think you put him in Slytherin.
Did I put him in Slytherin?
Yeah.
Not Slytherin.
I think I started... you got the ball rolling.
Okay.
I
can't remember.
Right.
My childhood crystal clear. 5 minutes ago, gone.
Run back tape. And gets the cell phone interceptor, but then confronts Weevil in the parking lot.
Yeah, hey Weevil, I got your anarchist cookbook. And she's like, why do you have this? And what did he say? It was because the something stew.
Yeah, I forget what it was, but he's trying to pass it off. Yeah, some
and
recipe.
She's like, hey, this is also a way to make bombs. Are you making bombs?
Right. Yeah, I feel like the anarchist cookbook has kind of fallen away in popular culture because there hasn't been a connection or an investigation into things like Columbine. So there you go.
Mm-hmm. And Weevil goes, why would I blow up my friends? And we do know he loved Felix. We have a whole episode about how much he loved Felix.
A few episodes ago, we go back to that.
It was quite passionate.
Very passionate.
He loved Felix.
Fucking love Felix.
And she's like, yeah. She's like, but what if you meant to blow up the limo, but Dick didn't take his goodie bag or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, because you hate 09ers, and Logan was supposed to be on that bus, and you'd do anything to get revenge for whoever killed Felix on the bridge.
Right. And while Weevil looks very guilty, we get the idea that the guilty is not for blowing up a bus full of people, but of burying Thumper below Qualcomm Stadium.
Mm-hmm. In the rubble, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And then Veronica eats lunch outside, quietly, by herself. Where's Wallace?
Yeah, I don't know. He's got things to do.
Basketball?
Well, actually, what we do know he's probably doing is he's probably hovering around Jackie, like, potentially just waiting for her to, like, be alone so he can be like, can we go out now?
And this guy comes up behind her and goes, I need you to find the owner of a car that hit my dog.
Yeah.
His dog's name was Apache.
Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah.
The person was driving a green Barracuda.
They looked through some car magazines to figure out what not car magazines, like, what is it? It's almost like a book. It's like a hardback.
Oh, I assume it was. So my high school, we had a whole page in the yearbook dedicated to people's cars. Like, you could put pictures of your car in it.
What?
Yeah. Did your school not do this?
No.
I tried to show you my yearbook when we were in Hanford because I assumed we did things that weren't normal, but you did not have any interest in reliving my trauma.
No, we did not put our people's cars.
You can also read all the awkward things that the few people that I did date that went to my school that still insisted on signing my yearbook, like a year or two after we dated, usually. They're like, yeah. And I'm like, I don't want
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Yeah, I probably wrote like hags.
Yeah.
So happy we made it through the year. Can't wait to never talk to you again. XO Emily.
Can't wait to put some distance in between, even more distance in between our relationship.
I think one of them is like, man, what a year we had. Like, that's what they wrote. And I was like, we dated for a week, my dude. We're good. Yeah, like, we're
wasn't
good.
A year.
What a year we did have.
Yeah. Didn't break up with you because of your timekeeping, but...
some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that there's a page in our yearbook, or at least a couple, that have like people's cars.
Got it.
Which is in hindsight very dangerous because like it's for sure has license plates and like that's a great way to get stalked.
Totally.
But like in my school, I guess like if you were gonna get stalked, it wasn't gonna be hard. That's awful, but it's true. I mean, like there weren't a lot of people.
Exactly.
Like hiding your license. Like you drove to school in that car, they were gonna know your car.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, they look through a book and it's like, was it this one? It's like, yes. Okay. Like,
it's this kind of car. It's a green Barracuda.
Mm-hmm. Look up online, trying to run a search to see if any cars or green Barracudas are registered in the area.
I can't believe your high school didn't have anyone's car in it. Like,
I mean,
it didn't have
maybe in pictures, but it wasn't like specifically called out of like.
Oh, and you were on your yearbook.
Yeah, I helped create the yearbook.
I apologize for assuming you did not know.
I know these things. No, there's probably things in that yearbook I'd be like, we put this in here?
Yeah.
I mean, we put a picture of me, Brian, and a girl in our class, Cheyenne. We photoshopped our faces onto Luke, Leia, and Han from Star Wars, and somehow it's in the yearbook.
Because you were the people that put together the
yearbook. Exactly. But I mean, like, who's auditing this?
Teachers don't give a fuck.
Yeah, they do not give a fuck. We left class all the time. It was great.
When I was in ASB, one of my friends in yearbook would come pull me out of class and then do photo shoots with me. Like, there's a picture of me carrying balloons across campus. It's in the yearbook. It's very sad and cute. But, yeah. So enough about the failures of high school teachers auditing yearbooks. They have more important things to do, like teaching the other classes they have.
Exactly.
Drew straws they lost that year. Now they're stuck being in charge of the yearbook.
He did it every year.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
He
won awards, damn it.
Did he?
Yeah.
I don't believe you for a second.
It was talked about a lot that we won awards every year at the county fair.
You entered your yearbook into the county fair?
I didn't. But yes, it
you
was
know
entered.
how, I mean, maybe they did this in my town, but I sincerely doubt it because we're an agriculture town. So I was like, people had more important things. Like people entered quilts and like cool handcrafted things, but I don't think anyone entered.
I don't. It was in there.
I guess also there were 3 schools in the county. How hard was that competition for us?
Damn, they win every year.
First, second, and third, we just throw it in the air and see what order it lands in.
Perfect.
God. Yeah. Interesting.
But
yes, green barracuda.
Yeah. So then Jackie comes with an even easier favor. She would like a job.
Java the Hutt.
Mm-hmm.
And Veronica's like, why? She's like, because my dad's in jail and I need money.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, same. I get it. I
Yeah.
mean, my dad's not in jail. But I always need money. Same. And this
Same,
is
Jackie.
going out there to my father.
Yeah. Hopefully you can hear this in lockup.
No. I sincerely doubt my biological or stepfather are going to jail.
No.
I don't see either of them doing anything jail worthy.
No, and they're white.
Fair. They're white. Yeah. Both very white.
Yes. So Veronica runs it by her boss because Jackie submitted an application. And she's like, hey, she has no experience, but you're going to vouch for her. So if, like...
She sucks, you have to fire her.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's a funny compromise. Because I feel like most of the time when you, like, hear that kind of thing in, like, shows, it's always like, if she sucks, you're both fired.
No, because...
This boss is like, nope, delegation.
The emotional labor of firing people is exhausting.
Yep. She's like, nope, I can delegate this task.
I mean, obviously, it's worse to get fired. Don't get me wrong. I'm not...
All those poor employers letting all those people go over this pandemic.
But I always feel bad when I think of like mass layoffs. I think of a very sad HR department.
Oh, right. And then like some higher up that is just like, yes, we have all this budget room now.
Well, and because that's always how it is. It's like someone else makes the decision of who they're letting go, and then they hand that off to the person in HR usually,
right. Mm-hmm.
Who's then stuck being like, cool, I am going to get yelled at by everyone.
Mm-hmm. Hey, can you come into my office? And then a bunch of people like skittish seeing you.
Mm-hmm. Or like scheduling meetings.
Right. Or at least typing up the letter that then goes out to everybody of like,
if you are receiving this, you have been laid off.
Right.
Yeah.
Fun times.
Yeah. Personally, I got a personalized phone call when I was laid off.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I like to think I was special.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because I know all the tricks in the book. And they liked me. My manager. Who knows about the rest of them, but
right.
But yes, yeah, you gotta fire her if she sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Like fair. It also had come up in an episode of Gilmore Girls I'd watched recently where Michelle, when the inn that they're working at before they buy the Dragonfly burns down.
Independence.
Yes, the Independence Inn. Lorelei's like, hey, I have to lay off all these people because we don't have work for them right now, and then hopefully we'll get to rehire them, and they give them severance. It's actually done very well and I think it's very well done, very polite. And she delegates the laying off of someone to Michelle,
mm-hmm.
and then they're like, oh God, he's gonna be mean. And then Michelle comes back and he's like, did you know that the person you were sending, I think his name was Victor, to lay off raises chow puppies and like fosters chow puppies with his own money, so I've adopted 2. This is them. He's like, can you fire them? And I'm like, that's how Michelle gets his chows, and it's just one of those things I never paid attention to. And I was like, yeah, it's exhausting to lay people off.
Mm-hmm.
But it's worse to lose your job.
Yeah we can hold both thoughts.
We can hold 2 different thoughts at the same time.
Mm-hmm. But yes, it can be very hard, but we really are much more empathetic for people that have no jobs.
Income.
Yeah.
Being able to live your life
mm-hmm.
and eat. Housing.
But yes.
Our dog made a weird noise.
He just moved over.
It sounded like he let some air out.
No, that was his collar.
Oh, I thought that was the couch.
Oh. Okay. So then Keith comes home,
Mm-hmm.
and he wants the news. He's like, hey, there's a call between Kendall and Logan.
3 calls.
3 calls.
Why would he have
Okay.
called her 3 times, or she called him 3 times on the day the bus went over?
Right. And Keith tries to play it like he's not excited by the gossip, but he wants to know the gossip.
He wants to know the hot goss.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh, yeah, they were fucking. And he's like, you didn't tell me?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I didn't know at the
They're
time.
playing the horizontal tango.
Twister without the board.
Thank you. Yeah.
And so then he's like, if you don't mind, honey, can you find out from Logan like what time he was with her?
Yep. It's like, oh God.
No, she used to date him. It was an overstep, father. That was
Daughter.
an overstep.
Daughter, do this hard work. You know that guy that we both hate?
You know that emotional labor? I'd like you to do it.
Yeah.
And so she goes, hey, Logan, were you with Kendall the day of the crash? And he's like, yes. And then she's like, and, when did you leave? And he's like, well, she kicked me out early. And like, why are you so interested in all the people I've slept with?
Mm-hmm.
And starts listing off random other people he's made out with. And
No conversation with Logan is a straight line.
or comfortable.
No. Yeah.
It's like walking on a bed of nails. Bed of nails?
Uh-huh.
Just one nail.
Just one
Actually,
nail.
that would hurt more.
Yeah.
It's like the little nail board things that you push your hand against. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Logan gives you tetanus.
Did you get your tetanus shot?
I did.
I haven't had one in a long time, I feel.
Yeah, it's been a while for me too.
Well, you had one when you cut your hand open.
Never mind.
Because they asked if you had a tetanus shot, and I was like, I don't think he has.
No, I hadn't. It had been a while. Ugh. Just careful how you cut open cans.
When you use a can opener, be careful.
Learn from experience. I got very lucky.
He did. He almost lost a tendon.
Yeah.
Could have lost a thumb. I'm just kidding. It just would have been more painful.
Yeah. Yeah. Not good.
That's gross.
Good times. And so so Veronica had taken an ad in the newspaper.
School newspaper, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. To display the Barracuda to try and track down who it was. And Gia's like, oh my God, I totally saw this green Barracuda on the drive home from the baseball stadium. It passed us and they gave us a pressed ham as they mooned the limo.
Yeah, they mooned us. They put a pressed ham.
Pressed ham.
Ooh, Barracuda. That's all I have in my head every time you
okay.
say Barracuda.
I'm still laughing at pressed ham.
Yeah, it really got me. I wrote it down twice, I think. Also, Gia is wearing an outfit that literally defines like 2004 or whatever the fuck this is. I was like, I had that necklace. It's like a pink, like we used to wear, I'm sorry, Gen Z, if you're here. We used to wear these big, chunky, beaded fucking necklaces. It looks like a rosary on steroids, but like worse. And like everything's just close together. And it's just these bright pink colors. And then she's wearing a shirt that has, who is it? I can't tell who the person is, because I used to have these shirts where you had like the body of like a famous picture of a woman or like part of their face, but like not the whole thing. And it's like a silky screen printed like dark blue shirt. It's just a fucking nightmare. It is a fucking nightmare. And we used to go outside like that. Like we thought that looked good. We thought that was appropriate.
Right.
God.
Great
Why
fashion.
did we have
It's gonna come back around.
Do you think that'll come back? Because like the current
Highlighter
fashion
colors?
now is like comfortable. Highlighter colors are fine. It's the cut and style of the clothing.
Hey, we'll see. I bet chunky stuff like that. Maybe. Puka shells, maybe not.
My cousin recently told me that she thinks low-rise jeans are coming back. And I feel very uncomfortable.
Yes. So while getting a pressed ham,
she was on the phone with her dad.
Yep. Woody called her. So put a pin in that. I mean, Veronica blows right past it, but it seems like an important detail for the future.
To make sure she'd be home in time to pick up Rodney from baseball practice or whatever the fuck he did. Football?
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, Woody's a baseball coach, so I'm assuming baseball, but I
just
know.
wrote pick up Rodney. Like it's a fucking item on my to-do list.
Yeah, he's not very heavy.
Pick him up, put him down.
Yeah. Huh. Oh God. Yeah. And now I'm remembering the like weird abuse situation that we get foreshadowed in that like sleepover scene with Rodney.
Yeah, poor fucking Rodney.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck's happening there, but he gets very upset for spilling water and then gets sent to his room.
I get stressed when I spill, but like not water.
Yeah, I know I'm not going to get sent to my room.
I did yell in the middle of the night when I spilled my water.
Yes, you did.
But I frightened myself. It was less about worrying about hurting the carpet and more about
and me sending you to your room.
I was in my room. But yes, yeah, poor kid. And then we go to Wallace, and he's like, "Hey, Jackie, like it's been 2 weeks. Let's date."
Aren't you over this already? And with all the grace intact.
God. So Wallace was like super best friend last week. Like best fucking person in the world. Like bro's got your back. He's going to take care of you. He's got Veronica. But like he's trying to woo Jackie and he's just digging a hole.
Yeah. It's just like the timer's up. Like my timer that we should be dating is up. Why are we not dating? And why don't you get over yourself? Like who cares about like being that girl who like dates me because like you're already like the daughter of a serial killer.
The daughter of the guy who blew up the bus.
Yeah, it's like, Jesus Christ. Oh, I let out an audible
remember,
gasp.
you're already that girl whose dad blew up other kids.
It's like, Jesus, dude.
And it made me think of my favorite film from my tween years, Center Stage. Which at the end of the film, our main dancer looks at the guy and he's like, "Do you want to try dating again?" And she's like, "As a choreographer, you're great. But as a boyfriend, you kind of suck." And it set the tone for my entire dating life.
Yeah.
I kept that. It was the only time I was allowed to say suck. My mom didn't like the word suck.
Yeah, that was also a bad word.
But I could say, like, damn. Shit.
None of these half steps would suck. You call it shitty.
Like, I never understood. I was like, why can't I say suck?
No, he doesn't suck. He's an asshole.
He's a motherfucker. Just kidding. We couldn't say fuck.
None of these half steps.
But yeah, I never understood what the rules were, why they were implemented in the way they were in my family.
Very funny to me.
But you know, we survived, and now we can say son of a bitch if we want to.
Yeah. All the time. But yeah, Wallace, calm the fuck down.
Yeah, excuse me.
And also, like, that's like the worst fucking thing to say.
Yeah, like, oh, well, your dad blew up a bus full of our friends.
So date me.
Like, what? If she wanted to be abused, she could have stayed in New York.
Right, exactly.
People be mean to you just for walking on the street there. You don't even have to go to school. But yeah, so then we go over to Veronica going to talk to our friend whose dog got hit by the barracuda.
Yes.
And his brother answers the door and has a black eye.
Yeah, grossest black eye I ever see.
It's a very gross black eye.
Mm-hmm.
And she flicks him in the eye because he's being an asshole. I liked that. It made me laugh.
Very effective.
And the guy's in his backyard with his fancy bow and arrow practicing shooting his fake deer.
Yes, indeed. Harry, I believe.
And she's
Harry.
I hate fake deer too. And she's like, it just makes me want to go all Chini on him.
Like, great.
Remember that? Do you remember when that was like the scandal? Was
yeah,
like
Cheney what the fuck? Cheney shot someone.
Shot someone while he was hunting, and like no one gave a fuck. I mean, like we gave a fuck, but like no one. You know what I mean?
There
like,
were no repercussions. He just had to like apologize to the man. I assume. I don't even think he probably visited him in the hospital. It's just like, you better be lucky it wasn't your heart, motherfucker.
Just push an envelope full of cash.
I don't even think you did that.
Heart VP.
Right.
Hush money. We wouldn't know.
But that's what I mean. I don't think Dick Cheney did that. He just used threats, probably.
Yeah. I never a big fan of Dick Cheney, obviously.
No.
He's a bad man.
Awful human being.
Is he still alive?
Yes.
I feel like he was really old when he was in office, so that's why I said.
No, yeah, he's still alive. I think it says things from time to time, and people are like, God. Well, you know.
God.
The people like that are, you know, I pay attention to are like, Jesus Christ, why are you talking?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Weird times, man. America, we're a mess.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you're registered to vote.
Yeah.
Just Throwing that out there.
Good reminder.
Just, it's like PBS. I'm just like throwing in my little public service announcements whenever I have a lull.
The more you know.
Voting by mail.
Yeah, what's that? Do you still have a post box? But yeah, just being the worst client ever, and just being like, I want my dog killer found.
Yeah, I want to avenge my dog, basically.
Yeah, and Veronica's pretty much just like, can you think of any other reason? And he's like, no.
Well, and I don't think he can. I think he's blinded by grief. Well, and I don't think it has anything to do with him, so it doesn't matter.
The dog getting run over, you mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, he's just fucking pissed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he can't think of any other reason. For him, that is impossible.
Totally.
And then we see Weevil working in the garage. He's under the car.
Yeah.
By himself.
Yeah.
Just vibing out with his music. And what's his name?
I know. I forgot his name.
One of the PCHers comes in. He's like, Weevil, you gotta save us from the Fitzpatricks. Remember that freshman you wouldn't let join? Well, obviously Thumper let him join. And now he keeps getting beat up by the Fitzpatricks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like calling in Weevil, we need the fixer.
Yeah, I need you to come save us.
Right.
You're our only hope.
Yeah, it's like calling in John Wick.
I'm sorry, who? We don't talk about people who are in movies that murder dogs.
It's a tough opening. It's a great movie.
It's a tough opening.
I need to watch the third one. I haven't seen that. But then Keith has found some information on old Kendall.
Pulling out a yearbook.
Yeah.
Keith pulls out Kendall's high school yearbook. 1994, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And Kendall Shiflett in the yearbook is this little blonde curly-haired girl.
Mm-hmm.
Priscilla Banks looks a lot like Kendall Casablancas.
Isn't that interesting?
Isn't it?
Yeah, Priscilla Banks sounds like the fake name.
110%.
Uh-huh.
And then we find out that Kendall Shiflett died in a car crash at 15. And it was due to her riding in a car with Priscilla Banks.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Also, wasn't
Curious.
this girl a sports dancer? So she had not a lot of fame or anything like that, but people probably knew her name, and weren't people from her hometown kind of why did she take this dead girl's name? Or did nobody give a fuck?
Yeah, I'm assuming she didn't take her name until she left town and then started up in LA or something. Because actually when she got out of jail, because Priscilla Banks is the one that went to jail after working with the Fitzpatricks.
You're right.
So it's relatively recent, I think, in the time span of these events. And then she was also a Laker girl, so I don't think you really get too much scrutiny. You know what I mean? You, even if you're say printed and you're doing meetups and it's it's Kendall.
But I would see people from your home, your people from your hometown would be bragging about you.
Oh, well, they don't know what she's doing at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess it's a distance thing.
Yeah.
So then also Veronica finds out who owns a green barracuda, and it's a little old blind lady.
A little green barracuda.
Little green barracuda. And she's like, no one's allowed to use my car. Back the fuck off. Mm-hmm. And so Veronica goes in the car.
Those are husbands.
Veronica goes in the car. She searches it. She finds out that there's a sticker of a leprechaun that has been taken off the back.
Yeah, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish sticker.
And she opens the glove box and finds a gun.
Now, what is a lady with cataracts doing with a gun in a glove box?
Defending herself.
Yeah, she's just gotta go a long way to get the gun.
Well, yeah, I mean, this has got to be a situation where she's sure this is it doesn't matter if we make it,
Yeah.
we're driving
so she
away.
Just pull a gun on Veronica.
Yeah, exactly. And so then we cut to Weevil and Veronica having a nice negotiation in the office.
Mm-hmm.
Weevil's like, hey, I need you to get me into Clement's office. Because that paddle that Thumper had in his locker, it's got the the license plates of everyone who buys drugs from the Fitzpatricks.
Yeah. Another thing that we have seen many episodes ago coming up again.
What a weird way to do that. Like, write it on a piece of paper, you weirdos.
Right. He like etched it into a paddle like in wood shop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super weird.
And then he keeps it in his auto shop locker.
I know. He could have just like wrote it on a piece of paper and kept it in his auto shop locker. Like, it makes no difference.
I don't understand. And Veronica's like, sure, here's the key. And then she's like, oh, Clemens changed his locks.
Right.
But she's like, but don't worry. I took a photocopy. And then
4-dimensional chess, my dear Weevil. 4-dimensional chess.
Keith is like, hey, I'm going to leave. Hi, Weevil. Hi, Veronica.
Yeah.
And Weevil goes, hi, Sheriff. And it made me laugh so hard.
I always forget that, like, how much like people know Keith, and I get reminded like every single episode. It's like, oh yes, like he has interacted with all these people in a different form, like as Sheriff.
Yes.
So that's why he's like so fucking detested by certain groups. And before that, Keith had called the Banks. Kendall Casablancas, nay Kendall Shiflets, nay Priscilla Banks. Calls her parents. And pretends to be alumni association or someone trying to organize a high school reunion. It's like, hey, if you can, last we know, she was in LA, but if you can find her, like, tell us hello.
And then we go to work, right? So now we're at Jabba the Hutt. And it's Jackie's first day.
Yeah. I'm putting a lot of faith in Jackie of just, like, doing it.
Well, it's not, I don't think it's hard to take coffee orders.
That's true.
As someone who was trained in an ice cream parlor, I mean, I got a little nervous taking orders, and they had a pretty big menu, but like my first day, I was taking orders by myself.
Oh, okay.
I was out there on the floor. But Veronica's like, hey, table 8 wanted to be in your section.
Yeah.
And who is it?
Wallace. Yep. And I wrote down, move table 8 out of her section. He does not get to be in her section.
And he goes, basically, like, I'm a jerk. I like you, but I'll back off if you don't like me. And she's like, Wallace, I'm leaving in 5 weeks for Paris. And he's like, well then.
What the fuck?
I guess all we have is now. But also, like, it's your first night at your new job, and I'm here to bother you.
I heard you were starting today. Veronica told me.
I have a copy of your
I
schedule.
wasn't just, like, following.
And then Veronica's like, hey, Jackie, can you cover my tables? I have to go do something. I'm like, yeah, First night.
Because you had mentioned at the time, you're like, maybe there's a trainer there to help Jackie. And I'm like, I would assume that'd be Veronica.
Exactly. So she's like, hey, his breaks are done. You're fine.
Yep. You got this. Fly.
And then Veronica tracks the car. She sees Kendall and someone else in a green Barracuda stop at a house. And she calls her dad. And she's like, hey, Dad, I see this thing happening.
Yeah, because the man got out with a gun.
There's a gun. I'm a little worried. I'm at the corner of this and this. And he's like, honey, pull up in front of the house and keep the engine running. Because Keith is inside the house.
The call was received inside the house.
And so Liam pulls a gun on Keith. Keith jumps through a window. They fight. It's very dramatic. Keith has all the best action scenes.
Yes, it does.
And then Kendall stands in front of Veronica's car. Veronica's like, get out of my way. Keith gets in the car. They drive off. And Keith is like, Liam tried to shoot me, but his gun didn't have bullets. And Veronica's like, yeah, if you had stayed on the phone with me instead of hanging up and telling me to pull around front, I could have told you I took the bullets out of the gun because I found this car.
Kept him in the ashtray.
Yeah, I have him in my ashtray. I just drive around with bullets in my ashtray.
I feel like I would have done something with them.
But what?
I have no idea. I would have told Keith, brought him inside. But I guess she went straight to work. No, she didn't.
I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't just like drive around, especially if I would be paranoid about getting pulled over. And it's just like, why do you have bullets in your like ashtray?
They just carry him. And then Veronica's like, well, like, why does Kendall own this secret house? And he's like, I don't know, but I got her hard drive. And I'm like, external hard drives.
He's like, pull it out.
And so then Matt comes over to help us pull everything off the hard drive while Veronica cleans up her dad's wounds from jumping through the window.
Mm-hmm.
And
glass.
Yeah. What are your windows made out of?
Plastic. It was really hard.
I mean, I guess it wasn't open, but
we never jumped through
it. Mac's like, I'm helping your father. I'm not helping you because you tried to sell me to Butters. And she's like, but I'll do anything for your father. So what do you need, Mr. Mars? And I'm like, yes, Mac, with the sass, queen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Don't do it for free.
And we find out. Oh, no, we have the Fitzpatricks and the PCHers, right?
Yes. Uh-huh. I wrote down the hot cops versus the PCHers.
I was thinking like Guys and Dolls or like some sort of like what's the big one?
West Side Story?
West Side Story, yeah.
I was thinking of the scene in Arrested Development where on the dock and it's like, we have a deal.
And they're like, hey, this is all we sold. This is the money, Fitzpatrick's. People aren't buying. And they're like, you make them buy. Don't people need drugs to stay awake and study?
Yeah.
Don't throw rave on the beach.
Yeah, throw rave on the beach.
Push drugs better, boys. And Papa Weevil shows up to save the day. But first and foremost, I have a question. If we know this is where all the CD shit happens all the time in this show, why are there never any cops in this dock?
Hey, they don't know about it or they don't care. And we know the sheriff's department.
We do.
They don't give two shits.
But you'd think back when Keith was sheriff, they would have been out there. So, like, there's someone who's like, oh, yeah, we should probably check that area every now and then.
Right. Freshmen are getting hung from hooks and beat up.
And so Weevil arrives to help his boys. And he threatens the Fitzpatricks with the addresses and the names of their clients.
Mm-hmm. Because all those license plate numbers were their clients.
Exactly.
And I did want to mention that the kid getting beat up is Harry's little brother.
Yes. Harry, our friend with the dog.
Yes, Apache.
Apache. R.I.P.
Yeah. Whew. Already miss you, bud.
God. And so Weevil's like, the PCHers aren't dealing for you anymore. Because you can't do business if you get caught. And he's like, here, you can keep this. He's like, but I have copies. And the day I go missing, this goes public. So you'll be watching my back.
Yeah. Yeah, so watch your step, Fitzpatricks.
Mm-hmm. And then he's like, okay, boys, to the PCHers, you're on your own now.
Yep. Well, yeah, as they're saying, for he's a jolly good fellow. And then he's like, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm not a part of this anymore either.
Yeah.
And then we go back to Veronica, who tells us that Mary McDonald, the lady with the barracuda, was a Fitzpatrick's grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
Liam wanted to shut Servando up.
Yep.
That was a big piece of this whole
thing. Because Servando, like when he showed him that he had ripped him off beforehand and gotten those genes. Yes. Had known some things.
He'd known some things. And Cormac Fitzpatrick used to work with Kendall to run a con.
Uh-huh. And so Kendall seemingly ended up in jail because of Cormac.
Exactly. And so we leave this twisted Fitzpatrick web and we go back to Wallace, who says, I don't care if I've only got 5 weeks with you, Jackie. I want to spend them with you.
Mm-hmm. She goes, well, fine. Prom it is.
Yeah, he goes, will you go to prom with me? And she says yes. And my brain went, you can't have prom right now. And then I was like, oh, it's not current.
Yeah, no, they're perfectly fine.
I don't even think H1N1 was a problem at this time. It wasn't until for a couple more years.
Yeah, exactly. Four more years. Three or 4 more years.
Something like that. And so then Veronica and Keith are talking, and Keith is like, hey, they found the murder weapon. It was they found a buried Emmy in the backyard of the Kane household when the new people there were digging up to go whatever. It has Lily's blood on it, and it has one of Duncan's hair.
Yep. The Kane's cover-up coming home to roost.
Which then we're like, oh. But also, we saw Kendall take a hair from the shower of Duncan and Logan's shower.
Right,
So
right.
do we not think maybe something is amiss here?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't remember how this resolves.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, that you're right in connecting the dots.
And then Veronica goes to tell the boys who killed their dog. And she's like, do you know who killed your brother's dog? And he's like, don't tell Mr. Fitzpatrick's. Like, he'll go kill him.
Yeah.
And we can't have that because then they'll kill him and me.
Yeah, pretty much. He's like, I don't want my brother ending up in jail for
Yeah.
shooting an arrow through the Fitzpatricks.
Yeah, he doesn't want Harry to find out.
Yeah.
I wrote Harry in one point, and then at the end I wrote Billy doesn't want his brother Matt to find out that Fitzpatrick ran over the dog. But the sentence before it, I call him Harry.
Oh, Matthew.
Who's Matt?
I don't know. But don't tell him.
Yeah, and so Veronica's like, yeah, I don't know who killed your dog. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Insane.
But yeah, 3 more episodes.
Yep. Then we move on to season 3.
Then we go to college.
We go to college. Are you excited to go to college? It's local.
Yeah, I am.
Like, we're gonna for sure live at home, but
Yeah.
like,
Exactly. Yeah, especially now.
but yeah. So, any final thoughts?
No, yeah.
Brotherly love.
See.
Drug dealing.
Whole lot of it.
Actually, not enough of it. That's a Fitzpatrick's
Oh,
problem.
right. Exactly.
And
Raves on the beach.
forever turns and twists with what happened to Lily Kane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and of course, us moving ever closer to Aaron getting off,
Exactly.
which sucks.
It sucks.
It makes me think of Broadchurch season 2, but that had a much weirder resolution to that.
I don't even remember that. It was so bad I blocked it.
Spoilers for Broadchurch season 2. The town takes him and just goes, like, all the men, like, accost him, like, put him in the back of a van, drive him somewhere, and be like, get the fuck out of town.
Yeah. But then you just unleashed a monster on another community.
Yeah. So
yeah, there we have it. Weevil saving his boys, but not reclaiming them.
Going back into retirement.
Mm-hmm. Which,
Yeah.
I mean, I get it.
Ripe old age, 19, 18.
It's like gymnast.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, well, plugs.
Yes.
When we are not deeply analyzing the trends, fashion, and weird stories of the early 2000s, you can find me at butreallythough.com. Though is spelled THO. You can also find me on my Instagram at butreallythough, BTRLYTHO. Or you can find me on my YouTube channel, But Really Though. I post free life and career coaching content. And if you want to do a little one-on-one career coaching, sign up for a free consultation on my Calendly, and we can see what works best for you and how I can best help you. Because, you know, you're allowed to get a new job. You're allowed to change your job during a pandemic. You're allowed to have a job that makes you happy. Or you're allowed to have a job that makes you a lot of money, so you have more money to throw at the things that make you happy. Your job doesn't have to be your life. You do you.
Exactly.
Oh, we also have another podcast. It's called But Really Though. It's spelled just like my website and that all that jazz. But it's a conspiracy theory, variety, urban legend, tall tale, whatever the fuck we feel like talking about. Sometimes we educate you on things we didn't learn in history. Sometimes we tell you straight lies off the internet. We try to preface which one it is so you're not confused. But, I mean, you know, the world is a mystery.
Yes. And you can find this podcast on Twitter and Facebook at Mars Rewatch. You can also send us an email at marsrewatch@gmail.com. And then you can find me at Pyle Breton. That is PYLE on Twitter.
Stay toasted marshmallows.